Hello baby boys! Today I'm talking about the biggest mistakes from The Sims 4 and there's a lot of them. Number 1. The lack of lore and depths. I feel like everybody will easily agree that Sims 4 is the most shallow game of the entire franchise. When we look back at Sims 2 and 3, the lore was amazing, intriguing and adult. Sims 4's so-called lore feels so childish, and part of me gets it cause they're trying to get that audience to play the game and not us old hags anymore. They did try to make the lore here as iconic by bringing back some well-known faces, but not even the Caliente sisters could save this mess, especially when they're looking so cold. Sims 2 and 3 were pretty bold when it comes down to telling a story. We had a serial killer, a gold digger, a missing wife, bad parents, a bad girl, a starving family, an alien family, Shakespeare, unhappy marriages, single moms, several criminals, mysteries, and even incest. We also had individual bios and memories to help tell a story. Now in Sims 4 there's some, I don't wanna say effort, but a little amount of energy, I guess, put into trying to add lore to this game, but it's just so fake. For example, the pancakes are supposed to be facing a marital crisis, but instead they're getting along just fine. And the BFF's household where not a single sim is actually friends, let alone besties, oh my god. Juni Zesty is supposed to be Nancy's and Jeffrey's land grab kid, but they do not even know each other and are not related by any means. Also, like, when we look at the gods, the Calientes, the land grabs and other non-families, their spark is gone, they just feel flat and dead inside. We also don't have ancestors here, so it feels like the Sims were just dropped in the game, no background. It's crazy to think this game did not even have family trees initially. Aside from the traits that, by the way, don't do much, we don't really know any Sim here. And the original families are so bad, oh my god. Some people say The Sims was sanitized, and I agree. The Sims 4 feels more like a create a sim game than a play with The Sims 1, if this makes sense. Cause the game looks so good, but when it comes down to gameplay and character development, it feels soulless. Again, I feel like that's cause they're trying to get more kids and less adults to play the game, cause a lot of the original players are now working and married, so they don't have a lot of time to actually play The Sims. Especially in Sims 2, lore was an actual part of the gameplay, and not only in a play pretend type of way. But lore is never going to be important for Sims 4, and that's okay, but in my personal opinion, that's a big mistake, cause when you add real personalities and background to your Sims, it's so much easier to connect to your game. The fact you need to create a sim every time you start a new save before entering the game also sucks, but it makes sense as I feel like nobody really cares about the primates here as they're so shitty, so everybody just plays their own families and even call the primates townies. God, Sims 4 is doomed. I understand not everybody will care about lore, but I totally do. You cannot convince me the pancakes are better than the pleasants when it comes down to a failed marriage. Never.
I love The Sims so much, but right now I'm juggling college and a regular job. So could you help me become a full-time content creator by subscribing, liking the video and leaving a comment? My goal for 2025 is 5,000 subscribers, so please, I really need your help. Now let's go.
Number 2. How everyone is connected, but also the whole world system and view. I think it's quite cool how your sim can visit and meet people from different cities in Sims 4, but this can get pretty annoying too as we can't control it. I don't know about you, but I love witches, vampires and mermaids, but I also enjoy a realistic gameplay, meaning I don't like to mix both worlds. So sometimes I'm playing a save where I'm just trying to be a boring human trapped to an unhappy marriage, struggling to pay my bills and raise my kids, and out of nowhere a freaking vampire breaks into my sim's home and bites their neck. I don't need that in my game unless I'm playing a save where everyone is a magic creature type of deal. Plus, let me say this, the world view here is so ugly. How we went from this beautiful amazing view to this shitty one. Unlike a lot of folks, I think Sims 4 is actually a super nice looking game, but oh my, they really dropped the ball here. Another problem is you can't really edit nor customize the words, unlike Sims 2 and 3 where it was possible to change everything. How we went from having a whole word creation program from not being able to add trees. The fact you can add like 3 lots per word is also so lame. Another shitty aspect of this is how some expansion packs are intrinsically tied to some words, meaning the whole expansion will be basically not available for the base game words, and your sim will always have to travel or even move to experience stuff. Even though I will acknowledge that having every word connected might be fun sometimes, overall I think it would be better if we get to pick and choose. What do you think? Number 3. The infinity of this game, and by that I mean Sims 4 should be dead by now. Sims 1 came out in 2000, Sims 2 launched in 2004, and Sims 3 5 years later in 2009. The Sims 4 is almost 10 years old. The game came out in 2014 and is probably not ending anytime soon. On one hand, I can see people who love this game being happy about that, but the way this company is handling stuff, I fear they will not get new players, they'll just lose the ones they still have instead. I think it would be cool to see more expansion packs for The Sims 4, as well as some desperately needed fixes, but in reality this company's focus is on milking this game as much as possible, creating a bunch of DLCs and kits that we don't really need. I do have some hope that maybe the game will get better, but to be honest, it should be ended already. On the other hand, I have to say, the game does feel incomplete. Something is missing here, not only passion and soul, but also that good ending energy. If they continue to release expansion packs, DLCs and kits, the updates are never going to stop. New bugs will be found and the old ones will be forgotten before they even get fixed, so that's another reason why I believe Sims 4 should be ended. Not right now, but maybe in 1 or 2 years. Number 4. The whitewashings. As a professional and devoted Sims 2 player, I was so shocked to see what they did to both Cassandra Goth and the Caliente sisters, and also Nigoth Caliente, the original Caliente sisters' mom. Katrina Caliente can go to hell, honestly. But yeah, Cassandra, Nina, and Dina were all using the third skin in Creusa Sims, a dark skin tone, as Cassandra is mixed and Nina and Dina Latinas. Then in Sims 4, they decided to reset the timeline and set the game in an alternative reality, but apparently some POC characters lost their melanin in the process. The Sims was always an inclusive game, and back then we had a lot of POC representation, and nothing will ever make me understand how they thought it was okay to whitewash these Sims and why it took so long for them to fix it. This automatically made me dislike not the game, but the way the game was being conducted. Nowadays, they're trying to compensate the years of whitewashing by darkening one's white Sims, and I'm not sure if that's the best approach either. To whitewash a character is wrong for obvious reasons, but it's also so disrespectful to the other games. And this is not even political, okay? I'm talking about The Sims lore here. Nigoth was also clearly Arabic inspired, but that's erased and never fixed. I do think Sims 4 is an amazing game when it comes down to representing real people, all kinds of people actually, but this was disgusting to me. I'm glad it was somewhat fixed. Another huge mistake is how easy the game is. Again, I understand this game is not for me and you if you're like my age, cause I'm 24. I do believe this game's target audience are the younger generations, and if you're close to my age and play Sims 4, I don't want you to feel offended by what I'm saying, cause sometimes I also play TS4. But this is by far the easiest game from this franchise, and the mistake here is thinking a game without a challenge can be fun. The bigger challenge here is to create a sim actually. We have so many options of customization and players will spend a lot of time making their sims, but when it comes down to gameplay, everything is so easy, and that's why a lot of people drop the game so fast. I'm not saying the game should be crazy hard like Sims 1, but it would be better in my opinion if it wasn't so easy. I mean, mean, it can be tough playing Sims 4, but that's because of how buggy this hell of a game is, not because the gameplay challenges you anyway. There's a lot of things to do here if you have a lot of packs, of course, so that's great, but everything is just handed to you a little bit, I feel like. The needs, for example, they're truly a measure of how hard the game is, and the needs here will drop so slowly. I need a bigger challenge. The whole mood system also doesn't impact the game by any means. It's kinda lame when you think about it. It's almost like they knew nobody's going to spend a lot of time playing the actual game, so they just made everything easier to access, so the player could get the game, do whatever they want, and quit. But that's no way of playing a game like The Sims in my personal opinion. Number 6. Missing or delayed basic stuff. In the beginning of Sims 4, we didn't have pools, family trees, common sense, and toddlers. We're still lacking common sense, but the others were slowly added to the game. I'm happy everything was later added, but Sims 4 has such a bad start, and the reality is they never really recovered from that. I mean, you know what they say about first impressions. We're still missing cars, and to be honest, I don't think cars will exactly save nor fix the game, but I understand that it sucks big time not having cars because a lot of people like me enjoy a realistic gameplay. I don't feel like this company is actually listening to the community. That's by far their biggest mistake. Number 7. The Sims 4 Journey to Batuu. Bye baby boys, that's it for today's video, man. Nah, I'm just kidding, but really, what the fuck? I will acknowledge that the idea was somewhat good. Okay, it was bad, but I enjoy aliens, so I was kinda hyped, but oh my, what a huge mess. Journey to Batuu has actually the most disliked trailer from this whole franchise on YouTube, so that's huge. The backlash here was so strong and so fair. Many players felt the Star Wars theme was too niche and didn't align with the Sims' usual life simulation focus, so that's one. Most builds here are just decorative, beautiful sure, but useless, just like me, so that's two. The aliens are not actual aliens, they're just regular Sims with masks, so that's three. Once the missions are completed, there's no reason to revisit Batuu, making the pack feel like a one-time experience, and that's 4. There's just no place to a pack like this in The Sims, and they're now paying people to promote it, like, just get over it. Number 8. My first pet stuff. Now again, this is the type of mistake you cannot recover from. Here lies The Sims' reputation. My first pet stuff is the stuff pack from 2018, but we're still mad about it. Most of the pack's features rely on owning The Sims 4 Cats and Dogs expansion pack. Without it, large portions of the pack are inaccessible, making it feel like a paid add-on rather than a standalone pack. Instead of just including these Cats and Dogs related objects in the actual Cats and Dogs EP, they decided to basically split this pack in two, so the player would have to buy 2 packs instead of just one. Not to mention, the whole stuff pack is just not good enough, and the small pets added here are more like animated objects with limited interactions. It was so greedy to charge for features that could have been included in Cats and Dogs, oh my. Number 9. My wedding stories. This one made me give up on love. The main feature of this pack, weddings, didn't work at all. Sims wouldn't follow instructions, refused to see it, or simply wandered away, making weddings unplayable. I cannot even express how absurd it is to launch something so incomplete like this. EA delayed the pack's release in some countries, particularly Russia, due to concerns about the LGBT couple featured in its marketing, so both the pack itself and its reception were quite poor, and releasing paid broken content should be a crime, just saying. Even when planned properly, ceremonies rarely worked as intended, so it's fair to say my wedding stories caused many players to divorce from The Sims. Finally, number 10. One of the biggest mistakes here is how everything is either broken from the start or gets broken in an update, and it takes years for them to fix it, making the little respect this game receives even less. Like I said, to charge for broken content should be a crime. I mean, every The Sims game has had broken stuff that EA never fixed, and the community had to find ways to fix it themselves, but The Sims 4 is on another level when it comes down to features that remain buggy for many years despite the players' cries for help. It's like 2025 and the Sims are still getting stuck in interactions, ignoring assigned tasks and just standing there. I have no energy to discuss how frustrating that is. As a professional Sims lover, it feels like they just don't care at this point. They're adding beautiful hairs and outfits to the game, but that's all. Everything else is either broken, breaking or about to break, such as the restaurants, the weddings, even the toddlers are kinda buggy, so yeah. I lost all hope today. Mind game breakdown. And that's it for today's video, baby boys. I don't hate Sims 4, but oh god, there's a lot of mistakes in this game's path. Now I wanna hear from you. What is the biggest mistake from TS4 in your opinion? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one.